Welcome to the MFR Coaches podcast, where we talk about how you can create a six-figure MFR practice. I'm your host, Heather Hommel. Not only have I been practicing MFR for 11 years, I'm also a life and business coach, especially for MFR therapists. My goal is for you to understand how to get fully booked, how to talk to your clients, and how to make sure they understand what's possible for them with MFR treatment. I'm here to help you stop under-earning, overworking, and burning out. I'll lend support so you can create the MFR practice you've always wanted. Learn how you can do it too, even if you live in a tiny town, and even if you're just starting out, and even if you've ran your practice for years. Let's go. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the MFR Coaches podcast. I have back with me special guest of the show, special friend of the show. Maybe you have real estate in the show now. I don't know. Rachel Pecora. Rachel is the owner of Northeast Ohio Myofascial Release. Welcome back to the program. How are you?
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm doing great.
Amazing. So Rachel, I feel like, is such a good example of what is possible for MFR therapists. And she's been on the show before. We've talked about her MFR emails, but she is very excited to talk to you all today about her emails that she has for MFR therapists. And also, I kind of wanted to talk about the journey of what you have been experiencing over the last 6 months, because it's kind of been a journey. So fill us in, tell us what's been going on.
Yes. Where to start? I created MFR emails almost at the beginning of the year. So we're almost a year in, and there's been some positive feedback and some hiccups along the way of things that I would like things to be a little bit different. So made some tweaks over time and plugging along with my business, and then getting married in March. So I've been working with a trainer and, running a business and doing the MFR emails and all the things. And I had a tragic accident at the gym. I fractured my thumb and I had to have emergency surgery. So
I think, therapist's nightmare is to have something happen with your tool, which is your hands, right?
Worst case scenario. Absolutely.
Worst. Yeah. What was your thought when that happened to you? What were you thinking?
When it happened, I thought, oh my God, I knew my finger was broken. I could see it bent the wrong way. And I'm like, I'm not going to be able to work out for a little while.
Yeah. I'm not going to be able to work out. Least of your problems.
And then I was like, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to work for a while. And then I was like, oh, this is bad. This is so bad. And then obviously your brain goes worst case scenario, world's ending, everything's on fire. So that was a very interesting time.
How did you manage yourself through that period of time? You initially injured yourself, you had to go in for surgery. You're not only it's tragic and it's very painful. What did you use to support yourself through that?
I don't know. It was rough in the early days. My fiance was super supportive. So he was my big cheerleader. I had a great surgeon. She was really positive and really kind of set the stage for, I think, the healing to go well. She didn't see it to be a problem. So I needed to lean into that expertise because that was way out of, what I knew how to talk myself through. So she made it feel as comfortable as possible. And so I just trusted that it was going to be okay. And that, in my mind, I thought, oh, I'm going back to work, in a few weeks. And then reality set in of it's going to be quite a few weeks. And then the therapy and all the things. So I think leaning into someone that has better expertise in a tragic situation, someone that's worked in that, the surgeon, she knows what this is like. She knows what it's going to look like. And leaning into coaching and leaning into my therapist a lot. There was a lot of dark times, a lot of tears and fears, but every day, it gets better, and kind of seeing the progress over time is.
Yeah. And we're happy to report that you are back to work now. Next week is your first full week back, full schedule.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So by the time this airs, she will have a few weeks under her belt working.
Yep.
Can you talk about, though, how you set yourself up to be able to handle this without even knowing that, really, like very intentionally through business coaching and like having some things in order ahead of this tragedy happening?
Yeah, I mean, I had been working on like my standard operating procedures that some people hate, but I had been working on those with coaching prior to this. I'd been trying to really get those like in order so that in case for some reason something happened to me or like, got hit by a bus or whatever, I was incapacitated, someone could make decisions on my behalf for my business because I realized there's like a lot of moving parts. So I had that kind of already laid out. I had been kind of just going through those and they were mostly done. And then I was, at the gym, broke my finger and I had to go to the emergency room. And, it takes like hours to be seen and, go through that process. And then there's also like no service inside the hospital. I have to go to work tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do. It is like going to be midnight before I get out of here. I can't call anyone. I can't function. I'm on drugs.
Mm-hmm. And your hand doesn't work.
My hand doesn't work. So I like was able to, thank God for voice to text. I could voice to text and email to my clients. And I sent them emails saying like, I'm in the emergency room. I broke my finger. I'm not coming to work. I don't know what's going to happen. I'll be in touch with you soon. But this is like what happened. So that's how I told people I wasn't coming to work the next day, was just by emails. And that's how I've continued to talk to people, communicate my progress journey, like throughout this whole ordeal was with emails. I let them know what happened. I let everybody know, and then I let them know when I was back and kind of updated them in between my journey too, because I was out for like 12 weeks. So it's a long time.
Yeah. How did you afford to be out for 12 weeks?
Well, coaching, lots of coaching. So learning how to budget, already a okay budgeter, but then like learning how to build my business and like really save. So you introduced me to one of your programs, other coaches, Gina Knox. And so I was in her program and she teaches you how to like save money for your business, and was also in the process of like really beefing up my savings account just for a, what if, or like whatever the future is going to hold. And that was what really got me through it, was having a couple of months of savings.
I want to spend some time in this because you had kind of been working towards these savings goals for a while. You knew you had a target amount in mind and you were filling up your buckets. Were you still, while you were filling those up, were you still paying yourself? How easy was it for you to create that amount of money that then tided you over for that 12 weeks?
It was pretty good. Like I was really starting to just really look at my numbers and like get really clear on what I actually needed and what I actually needed to pay myself. And then, it's kind of like a formula of like, how much money do you need? How much money does your business need? And then anything additional just kind of would move into my other savings accounts. And then I just kind of put a little bit in and a little bit in. And then all of a sudden you have quite a bit of money. And then I was still paying myself regularly.
Even while is this like before you were injured, or while you were injured, were you able to pay yourself regularly?
I was paying myself regularly while I was saving the money. And then I was still paying myself. I wasn't paying myself as much while I was injured, just because I wasn't sure how long I needed that money to kind of stretch out. Also, one nice thing is I had quite a few refunds to do with some people that I just felt was like just a customer service thing. So that was not stressful it was stressful to have to give money back, but I had it to give back. So that felt good.
I think that's a really big deal. I think now that you're on the other side of this, it just feels like, oh, I had the money, so I just gave it back. And I remember like being in this with you and like being like having to, I wasn't physically with you, but we would be on calls and I'd be like, listen, the part where you have all this money is so good. And I know you are so stressed out, but I don't think you can see how amazing this is. And when this is over, how much less stress you're going to have because you have this money right here. So watching you go through that as your coach, like I was worried for you. I mean, I don't like you've been through a lot. Like this is like you've had a lot of life at you, which I think is, we all have these things happen to us.
Yeah.
But I think every time you've grown from something that's happened to you. And so, like, for the next thing, the experience of it is maybe not easier, but better in a way because you've changed one thing or you've added one thing in, whether it's like a different savings or a different way to think about it or just a different plan. So, to know that you had done that work and that you had this buffer and you were not going to be in the cheese line was really awesome.
Yeah.
And it still was like very hard for you to go through this mentally, physically, emotionally. But when you have money, it makes things easier. Would you agree?
Absolutely. Yes. I never questioned if I was going to be able to eat. I mean, obviously I couldn't be spending like lavish amounts of money, but I knew my basic things were covered and I knew I could I paid all my business expenses while I was gone. I still was able to cover the things I wasn't using. I didn't, it wasn't out of my office.
You didn't lose your business. A lot of people would lose their business over this 12-week situation.
Yeah. And I think about it, too, people have babies. So they're gone for 12 weeks a lot of times. So, you can shut down. You just have to plan for things ahead. And I think having the right things in place, you just know what's going to happen. So having the right foundations are the most important part because everything else you can kind of navigate around.
Yeah. And now that you're back to work, you'll just work on building all of that back up. You're not panicking. You're not in a graspy mode where how does it feel to be back at work and selling MFR now to your clients again?
It feels really great to be working. It's amazing that I'm able to work. You don't know what it's going to be like until you go back to work, but it's amazing to know that I can still work and it's fine. And it could have been worse. I could have lost my finger altogether and that would have been a different story, but it's so nice that people are they missed me. They're I really needed you. And it was it's sorry that this happened, but so glad you're back. I'm oh,
yeah. Yeah. Did you think people were going to be mad at you and then not want to be your clients? What were some of your grossest thoughts you had?
I think sometimes I thought that because I had a lot of people that new people that had scheduled appointments that didn't ever get to see me. And, obviously they were well, I'm not going to stick around. I don't know this person. I understand that. So it was a little hurtful at, every time oh, a little stabbed in my heart. But then it's it's fine. I've taken time off before and everything was okay. And that was when I didn't even have as much business as I have now. So it was I know it's going to be fine, but it still stings a little bit. And
yeah,
someone my fiance works with, his boss told him that, it's really easy to close a business, but it's really hard to start one up. And I was I'm going to show you. So he was wrong. Everybody's
But why would this is the thing, why do people say stuff like that? I had no doubts that you would go through this, figure out what, if any, disability you would have going forward and work around it.
Right.
And on top of that, I think this is a good segue to talk about your second offer, which you developed inside my mastermind program, which is your MFR emails. And first of all, how did you use email during this time that you were off?
I sent emails to my clients to let them know this is what happened. And, I updated them every so often to let them know hey, I'm still here, but still out, and I didn't know how long it was going to be that I would be out. I thought, originally I was oh, I'll be back in a few weeks. And then it was it just took longer than my brain wanted to believe. So I just stayed in touch with people still. I emailed people, I shared on social media. There was a period where I was a little hesitant to talk about my journey because I didn't know where it was going to take me. But then I just kind of went with it because if I'm experiencing this, other people are probably experiencing this that aren't my clients yet.
Yeah.
or they are my clients and they understand. So it's kind of been interesting to like tell people, like, to not hide that part of your journey, because I think it benefits people too to see.
Yeah. And I think it makes you like a real person, like real humans get hurt and it's not because you were bad or you did something or you deserve it. Like it just happens.
Yeah.
Human bodies break down, we get injured. And I think I love to start seeing that when you were starting to share that on social media, kind of like pictures of your x-rays and like, this is what healing looks like. And it's like you working out and then like your thumb broken and then like you crying and then like
So
you
many
feel
crying.
better, and you're crying again.
So
Right? It's just like,
much.
that's just the journey of it. It's
Yeah.
normal. And I think not that a therapist has to go through their own pain to be a good therapist, but I think it changes you as a therapist when you've had your own personal struggles in a way where you can empathize with clients differently than maybe someone who hasn't. It doesn't make it better or worse, but I think that empathy is there. So,
Yeah,
you get it.
absolutely. Not that I would wish this on anyone ever, but I dealt with my own chronic pain before I found MFR. And then this is just a completely different experience. And it is such an interesting journey now, knowing what I know about MFR and like how I think my body healed much better because of the things that I, know from MFR.
Yeah.
I don't know that it would have been as positive
Mhm.
otherwise. So
Yeah.
I'm grateful in that sense. And it's quite amazing what the body can withstand.
Yeah, it's so good. And like even with my own back injury, I think
Yeah.
being able to get MFR, like know how to self-treat or know kind of like when to say when I ended up having to have surgery too. And it's like, and that's okay. And
Yeah.
I don't think enough people talk about how it's not a failure to have surgery. Like a lot of times we need to have surgeries and MFR can help both before and after. So, okay, I'm glad you're on the other side of that. Let's talk about MFR emails. Tell us about what it's like creating this and how does it help people?
The emails are helpful to communicate with people. I think I found with my own journey before that sending emails was kind of like a scary thing. Like I kind of felt like people would maybe judge me or they'd be mad or thought I would be sending too many emails or it'd bother them or something like that. Or maybe people think that they don't know what they're talking about. So it like creates some kind of hesitation. But I found that the best way to really connect with my clients is just to be like a human and explain it in human ways and share my experiences and share my journey. And I've always shared my journey with my clients, like through MFR and through just different things. And I think that they relate to that. I kind of always tie it back to MFR somehow. So
Yeah.
I think that really just puts it into perspective for people. So I started creating these for other people, and it's great.
Yeah. It's so fun. I think people think about, especially MFR therapists, I'm the MFR coach, so I work with a lot of MFR therapists. So generally there is this sense that they don't want to bother people. They don't want to be seen as pushy or salesy. They don't want to overpromise and underdeliver. They don't want to piss people off. And they're worried about what to say or how to say things. And so, or they just like don't have an idea of how to say things to people. So what I've noticed from these emails that you've written, it takes away the pressure to have to come up with what to say.
Yeah.
Takes all of that pressure off. And then also you wrote it, so maybe it's not so personal to them. Like it still seems like it came from them, but they don't have to, it doesn't have to be so emotionally wrapped up or whatever in if someone doesn't like the email, right? Like it's already done for them. They just change a couple of things to make it sound like it came from them. They shoot it off. There's just like less attachment to it. What do you think?
Absolutely. I definitely like what you said about over promising and under delivering. I feel like when I started writing emails, that was a big hesitation of mine. I'm going to tell people this is going to fix their lives. And then what if I can't actually do that? Then I'm going to be a fraud. And I think it's not so serious. It's
Yeah.
just kind of telling them what's possible and explaining it in ways that make sense to them, to the person. And I kind of look at it as like explaining it to a child or like a teenager. Like, how would you talk to them? how do your clients talk to you? How do they explain what they're receiving from the work you're doing? That's how you want to talk to them. So I just kind of use those things to make it really simple, and they're not like science-y where people don't care. People don't care about, the science that we like to nerd out on. They just don't. So
Yeah. Our clients do not want to hear necessarily what we learned at a seminar. They just want to know that you can help them. And I think the more we can make that okay to just be like, I can help you.
yeah.
And just be silent. I can help you. Do you want my help? Versus it's going to be gentle sustained pressure and cross hand releases and piezoelectric responses and like kill me. I'm so tired of hearing that as the explanation versus I can help you. And us being the biggest barrier to our clients getting treatment, which like I think when therapists find out that we're the problem, we're the biggest barrier, I think they're like, oh no. But there's just this like level of no clue that that's the problem. But yeah, it's an easy fix. You can never over communicate with your clients, and you can never, I think, dumb it down enough.
Yeah.
Just all the way down to like, I can help you. Do you want my help? So
Yeah.
yeah. And your emails, though, just to be clear, are not dumb, not like they're not oversimplified. They're very much like a conversation that you would have with a client. They're very personable and very relatable, very easy to read, and fun. I think there's like an aspect of fun to it too.
Yeah. Some of them are, I have some emails that I've created for people that have, online inquiries. So they're just kind of like most common questions that you get asked. And so you don't have to retype it every time someone sends you a message online asking about like, does myofascial release help with stress? Like, yeah.
Yeah. And here's how it helps.
Here's how it helps.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I have, emails that will give you if you need to close your practice down and how to do that and like how to communicate that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to have like a sale or if you offer packages, like you can send these emails and they don't necessarily have to be selling something. They can just be talking because that's just what people, they want to know about how they can be helped. And honestly, once they leave your treatment room, like sometimes they're just in MFR brain. They're not thinking about it. So they're home and they're like relaxed and they get that email and they're looking at it in the middle of the night when they have a migraine, like, oh, I need to book an appointment. So just
exactly.
It's just
yeah.
simple.
Helps you be top of mind with the customer. And I think sometimes the attitude about emails again goes back to like, well, I don't like having emails in my inbox, so I'm not going to send emails. And my thing for people that are thinking that right now or that get their panties in a wad about emails landing in their inbox, why is this so stressful and frustrating for you? Like, what can we do to eliminate the stress and frustration by that? Like, you can just delete things, you can unsubscribe, you can handle that. You're an adult. So, for anyone that is super sensitive about that, why are we so sensitive about that? Like, that's something that can be worked on. And I think it's ridiculous. Anyway, I have a lot of judgment about that because emails are such a transient way to communicate with people. It's like, do you get super pissed when you're driving down the freeway and you see a billboard sign? Or do you look at the billboard sign, have thoughts, and then continue to drive?
Yeah.
Right? Like even the most offensive billboard sign, like I couldn't tell you what the most offensive billboard sign is that I've seen, right? Emails are the same way. Delete it, unsubscribe, whatever, read it, put it in the trash box, or save it forever, whatever you'd like to do. Okay, that's just my soapbox for people that are like so weird about emails. This is how we communicate today.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like, I don't really want to see every Walmart email because I know that they're trying to sell me something. But if I'm getting an email from a small business, chances are it's something I want to know about. Like I clicked on my email because I want to know something that they have to offer. So I don't get upset about those. But like, yeah, maybe the ones from Walmart that come every 5 minutes.
Just unsubscribe.
Right. It's easy.
Or delete it. It's so easy. And I think we just need to remind ourselves, like, if you're following best email practices, which means you're sending to people who have opted in to receive your emails, right? It's consensual.
Yep.
And you also have the ability for someone to unsubscribe.
Yep.
It is a consensual relationship and it's safe to email your clients. And Rachel makes it even safer for you by creating the content and the layout for all these emails, everything from like how to reply to a simple inquiry on your website to a holiday special to, hey, I'm injured. I'm going to be out of the office for a while. Or, hey, I'm going to seminars, book your next appointment. You kind of have a bundle that has all of these in it. Why don't you talk about the bundle that you currently have?
Yep, it's a new bundle, so it includes all of the emails I had in the first bundle, but now it's been updated in a new format. So it's like a easier format to get through. Before it was there's some wonky stuff. So now it's a Google Doc and you get all the emails. I think there's 50 emails in it now. And those have, like I said, the original email. So if you purchased it in the past, you'll get all those still. And then you'll get all the new emails. And it's just in a simple Google Doc. You really just have to like change some of the specific information, like your business information or like your prices if you have price points in there, or like your booking links, but they're really all done for you. I mean, I've purchased other quote unquote done for you emails and they're like fill in the blank. I'm like, this isn't done for me. Like I have to think about what to put in them now. Like just
now pick an adverb. What is that?
right. Like think of a story that, connected with your patients. Like, I don't know, that takes too much time. So
Yeah.
these are done for you and you can like just select which one sounds good to send. There's not really a right or wrong way to do it. I like to be interchangeable. So like sometimes I'll just send out the one that's for an online inquiry. I'll just send it out to everybody. Just you might need to know this information. Maybe they forgot. People forget stuff or they don't hear it the first time and need lots of reminders. So that's why I like emails. It just keeps people thinking about you and they can book at their own time because I find that a lot of people don't want to call you. They just want to do it online and they want to do it at midnight.
Yeah, people don't want to call you. They want to book online.
Yeah, they want to book online. So just communicate that way. I mean, I only call people if I absolutely have to.
Me too. Same.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about how sending emails has changed your business outcome? Like, have you seen a definitive line between like, this was before I started sending emails and this is after?
Yeah, I didn't really start in the beginning sending emails for like a reason. I just was like, oh, I'll send an email here or there. Maybe I'll get someone to book. And then people started booking and I was like, oh, this is working. And so I just kept doing it. And I find that I use Massage Book. So there's ways that you can kind of like see the emails that you've sent and like how many people have booked based on those emails. And while it's not 100% accurate, like there's a lot of people that book through those campaigns that I send, but then I know that they've like, maybe they don't book through that campaign, but they book a couple days later just on their own. So it's like, I know that it's working because I'm getting people to book. And that's how I measure it, is if I'm booked or not. And I'm booked. So
not how many people opened it, right? Like I think that's an important measurement is like, this is the same with like social media. Like how many hits did you get on social media? And I'm like, it doesn't matter. What matters is how much money you've made. Like how many clients are on your schedule. How did that translate? So I like that you're looking at it not in open rates, but in booking rates.
Yeah. I mean, we're not going to be influencers, like none of us.
I mean, we can be, but like, I don't know that needs to be a goal.
Right. So like you're just talking to the people that want to hear from you. And so just by regularly communicating with them, they will automatically think about you. And maybe it's not for them, it might be for a friend or something, or a relative, or so it's just you gotta stay top of mind for people. They forget.
When I think too, like kind of just changing the thought from emails are annoying, maybe that's where you're at on the spectrum, to emails make me money and help me help my clients. And I'm just thinking about in my last launch, sending emails. Well, I'm sure some people don't love getting all of the emails that I send. Many, many people do.
Yeah.
And that launch was all done via email. I didn't do a webinar or anything. And I made close to $100,000 off of sending emails. So emails are very lucrative and they help you to save time, right? Imagine if I had to do another, like a webinar, like hours of time developing that webinar to do that training to then create that money. And that was all done through email. So emails that I've sent multiple times, actually, I've repurposed them. So I think it's important for people to realize how much money can be made by the emails. And I think it's fun too when people in the coaching program, for instance, are talking about sending your emails and then being like, oh, I sent that email out and I booked a brand new client and I booked, like I sold a package or whatever. And like that email then that you paid X amount of dollars for with a very small price point, you just made hundreds of dollars from, and you can send that out multiple times.
Yeah, I send the same emails most of the time. I do. It's
Yeah.
not always a different one. It's usually just like kind of a variation of one I sent before. And, here's my availability today. And then people book, so they look forward to those things. They want to know when you have time available. They want to know, like, if you have a cancellation, that's the fastest way to fill up a cancellation rather than like sending a text message out to like 10 people. Just send an email, let them figure it out. You don't have to phone tag
With a link, like
Yeah,
you
the
do it
link.
yourself. Yeah.
So you might spend money to buy the emails, but then you should probably create a little bit of a plan to use them like regularly so that people start understanding that you're going to communicate via email. And then when they start seeing them more regularly, they'll kind of automatically know like, hey, she's going to send an email out when she has a cancellation.
Yeah, people like that. I like that. My massage therapist sends out a cancellation email it's not very often, but then when she does, I'm like, all right. And I always check to see if it works for me.
Yeah, because you never know. I mean, people sometimes want a last minute appointment and they might be on your cancellation list, but then like can't actually find the time to come in, but someone else's schedule might open up. So you just like never know.
Yeah.
You just like open yourself up to allow the most people to come to you, make it the easiest. And
Mhm. Yes. And keep your schedule fully booked, because a fully booked schedule is what allows you to then fill up your bank accounts, fill up your overflow fund for when something happens, and allow you to pay yourself when you have an injury, right? It's like this whole goal of having a fully booked business helps to continually keep that business running even when it is closed. So,
yeah,
yeah.
there was a massage therapist in my building that shared space with me upstairs. She had a different office and she closed her business while I was out. I don't know. She had some kind of issue.
Like it's closed, like moved out of the building.
Yeah, she's gone.
That's awful.
And
Yeah.
she had employees, and it can be tough if you don't have a good foundation set up, and it got to be kind of active. You have to actively work on your business, and that way, you have to think about all the things.
Yeah.
So,
Do you ever wonder what would have happened? Like, say you didn't do coaching, like what would this experience have been like for you when you hurt your thumb?
well, I don't know that I would have had the business that I have today if I didn't have coaching to like begin with. And then I would have been spinning out of control. I don't know what I would do. I don't know. I don't even want to think about that. That sounds scary.
Do you want to speak to like the specific differences you think there would be from like not, because I think some people struggle with understanding what happens in coaching and like why they can't just figure it out themselves. What is the difference between a business owner that just figures it out themselves versus someone that has a coach?
Yeah. So I think it's kind of similar to like, you don't know what you don't know. And for me, when I first started my MFR business, I thought I needed to talk about like crosshand releases and slow sustained pressure and piezoelectricity and all that stuff that nobody cares about. And the same with emails. I think people think they have to like make it really complicated, but really just kind of learning how to talk to your patients, and that's the easiest way. And I think we tend to also forget that before MFR, we were therapists in another lifetime. We were PTs, OTs, LMTs, whatever. And so we have like so much background knowledge. So like we didn't just forget all that. Like we know how to help people. So just kind of translating that into MFR, it's the same. You can still help people. It's just looks a little different. So I think coaching helped me talk to people and get out of my head of like, oh, they must be thinking all these things about me. And they weren't. Just me.
We cut through the drama.
Get through the drama. Yeah. Like really making intentional decisions of how to spend money in your business and like what to spend money on and how to charge like an appropriate rate to like pay yourself. And like we think that maybe we aren't worthy of that, or like, I can't charge a higher amount, but you have to pay for your expenses and your retirement and maybe your healthcare and all that stuff. So it's really important to have those things figured out before you can have easy practice. And I think coaching just kind of takes the brakes off of that and lets you just like work through the stuff. And then like repetition too, just kind of doing it over and over again, coaching calls, listening, and, really applying the thought work to your daily life. It's just really helpful.
Yeah. And not deciding like that you just know it all. I mean, I think that was the biggest mistake I ever made in my MFR business, was like just deciding that I knew it all and I didn't need help. But again, that goes back to, you just don't know what you don't know. But there's nowhere where you learn business skills unless you try to learn them on purpose. Like it's just not available.
Yeah.
ChatGPT is not going to tell you how to do it. I mean, it will, but good luck.
Yeah. And like things that you see online, like I come across things all the time that they have like these like really inexpensive, like, price points for this like massive course. And you're like, that's awfully inexpensive. You're not going to learn how to do your business from something that costs $37. Like you need like real experience, like real work.
Yeah.
So I think we tend to like, I don't want to spend money on that. It's not going to.
Which is wild, right? Like think about how much money you spend on your hands-on skills, like through schooling, and then all the seminars, all the travel for the like how much money you spend on that. And then to not be able to sell MFR or not be able to create clients and get fully booked.
Yeah.
That is so sad to me.
Yeah. Yeah. You invest a lot of money. I remember way back in the day before I started really, way before I knew you, and I was like, oh, I'm going to take these MFR classes. And I don't know, maybe in 20 years, I'll be able to afford them all.
Right.
Like in my mind, I'm like, there's no way I'm ever going to be able to do this. And like, I don't think I would have been able to do it if I didn't intentionally try to do it, and it comes with
what's nice is like you can afford it and you can afford to pay yourself and you can afford to stay in business. So it's not like you're picking one or the other. Cause I see this a lot in our industry is like people are working just to go to more seminars and there's no path for them to pay themselves. It's just, and I'm like, what's happening right now?
Yeah.
And I understand because I was there too, like how fun it is to go and how rewarding it is to be around people that are doing what you're doing and how seen you feel, but I mean, making money and being like having a sustainable practice is what is going to help MFR get into every neighborhood across America so that everybody has access to it. Like that's literally how we create the access is by having these businesses.
Yeah. Absolutely. If there's no one to provide the service, people don't know it's there and they're never going to get the service. And so, yeah.
And it just makes me thankful that you have put all this time and investment and energy into your MFR business so that when life happened and you were out, you weren't out forever. You were able to make a comeback and you were not only able to just survive during that period of time, but really sustain like a level of life that you're used to, continue to plan your wedding, all of the things.
It's been a lot.
Still going to get married, everybody. Everything's on track.
And I've been back at the gym. So
amazing. Okay. Tell everybody you have a very special offer for your MFR emails. So lay it all out for us. Tell us all the details.
Yes. Normally the bundle in the past, the bundle was $300 and you got over 30 emails with that. And now it is 50 emails and they're updated in the better version. And you get like a Google link that you can have access to. And it's super simple. And then I will be running a special Black Friday deal for $99. So you get the whole bundle of all 50 emails for $99.
That's amazing. It's regularly $300 for 30.
Yeah.
This is awesome. And you can use the emails over and over and over and over again.
Yep. They're repurposable. You can, send them multiple times. Some of them you can, just have on hand if people ask you a question, like an online inquiry, you can just shoot them off and you have those like handy, or hopefully maybe they inspire you to create your own emails and, maybe you might have to tweak things a little bit differently for your business, but it should give you like a really good idea of how to do that. because
Very good.
lots of good info in there. So
where do people find this? Where do people find out more information?
yep, they can go to mfremails.com. If you sign up on my website at mfremails.com, you can put your email address and your first and last name in there, and you'll get a free email right away. So you can start using that like with every patient.
Oh, so if you're like curious about how it works, you just sign up for your email list and then get a free email. That's great.
You'll get your free email, and that one, it's kind of like a what to do with patients after they've had treatment. You can send it out to like your regular patient list, or you can send it out to new people, whatever you want to do. And then you'll get on my email list to be notified of the sale that starts on Friday.
Amazing. But you have a special for listeners, podcast listeners, so they can buy this early.
You can buy it early as a special offer for listeners of the podcast. If you use code MFR Coach 99, you can get it today
for $99.
$99.
Okay. So starting today, anyone listening to this, you can go to mfremails.com, click on the link to buy the email bundle, and then you can buy it early at that $99 Black Friday special by using the code MFR Coach 99. Now, is there a time limit for when this is going to go away?
Yes, it will end on December 2nd. So you'll have to get it before December 2nd, but listening to the podcast early, you'll get it starting today, Monday.
Okay. So if you're listening to this in real time, go grab your bundle. If you're listening to this later on and you missed it, still go to mfremails.com and check out and see, buy the bundle at full price. If it's there, it's totally worth it. You could make your money back by creating one client from the emails, or selling one package, or even selling one session to 3 people. So,
absolutely,
or 2 people, depending on what you charge. So that's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Thanks, Rachel. Thanks for tuning in today. Before we wrap up, I want to take a moment to remind you that my Foundations program is still open for enrollment, and we're keeping the doors open until every spot is filled. I get that life's been extra busy lately between the election, family, holidays, everything else we juggle as entrepreneurs. It can be easy to put your goals on the back burner. As a mom of 3 and a business owner, I totally get it. I see you. But here's the thing. If you're ready to get fully booked in 2025, to turn those valuable myofascial release skills into a true revenue generating practice, there's no better time to start. The Foundations program is 12 months of support designed to help MFR therapists just like you reach their fullest potential. This program is specifically crafted for those of you who want to move beyond trading hours for dollars and build a practice that truly supports your life goals. We're talking about a step-by-step path to get booked out and fully realize the business potential of the training you've already invested in. And for those of you who've been in business for years, when you join, we will adjust the business you already have to ensure you aren't under-earning and are getting the most out of your business by making it even easier to save you time and generate more money. You'll get weekly support, accountability, and proven strategies to help you succeed. And I'm sending all enrollees a little extra thank you gift, so you'll be set up with everything you need. The investment is $3,000 for the entire year. That's for 12 months of support, resources, and growth opportunities, and the best community. I can't wait to support you and watch your practice flourish. So if you've been hesitating, let this be your sign. Join us now, and let's get you on the path to a fully booked and thriving 2025. Go to www.themfrcoach.com/foundation for all the details and to enroll now. We'll see you there. Is there anything else you wanted to say before we wrap up?
Don't be afraid to send emails. They're going to make you money, and they're going to be authentic from you. So just start thinking about how you want to communicate MFR to people in a simple way. And if you need any help, reach out to me. I have great customer service. I will help you come up with ideas if you have some questions. So go grab your email bundle. Also follow me on social media, and you can see all of my posts about the MFR email bundle there.
Awesome. Where do they find you on social media?
Northeast Ohio Myofascial Release on Facebook and Instagram.
Okay. She has a great feed, I think. You have a great feed. I like following you. It's fun. All right, everybody. So you heard it here. Go grab your email bundle. Rachel Pecora, she's been a longtime client of mine. I have watched her transition to MFR only from doing massage. I've watched her go through lots of life changes, all the way through having surgery, losing her parent, losing an aunt, getting married. We're getting married now. I mean, I'm not getting married to her. She's getting married to a lovely young man, but I'm very excited to watch your journey and to see what you create, and very proud of this email bundle that you created and how you have. I just have a lot of respect for how you've never given up and you've kept going even when things have been hard. And yeah, so
Thank
good
you.
work. Good work out of you.
I appreciate it. You got to have a coach, someone in your corner to cheer you along sometimes. So, comes in handy. So thank you.
Well, it has been my absolute pleasure. So, all right, everybody, go grab that email bundle, mfremails.com, and I'll be back next week with another episode of the MFR Coaches Podcast. See you then. Bye. Thanks for joining me today. If you enjoyed today's episode, please take a minute and rate and review the podcast. I appreciate it. For more information, please follow me on Facebook and Instagram at The MFR Coach. And check out my website, www.themfrcoach.com, for more information. If you are currently not working 20 hours or less and making six figures in your MFR business, I want to help you change that. Make sure you tune into the show and get on my email list so you never miss out on important trainings and information. To be the first to find out when we are enrolling next for my 12-month Business Foundations coaching program, get on that email list at www.themfrcoach.com/join. Inside this program, you'll learn how to raise your rate, overcome objections, and sell MFR. You'll become the MFR therapist that never under-earns and never burns out. It's up to us to make MFR mainstream, and it starts with you and your successful MFR practice. See you next week.